Welcome in. This is Off the Edge, and it is week 13. We just keep getting closer and closer and closer to the end of the season. But we're here. We're back with another Off the Edge. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Cameron Lynch. And today, we have quite a few things to talk about. We got your top performers. I am 0 for 2. 2 weeks in a row, I did not get a single dude that you could call a top performer. You had Myles Garrett, who had 2 forced fumbles, and he had 3 sacks, and you had George Pickens, who was dominating the Philadelphia Eagles in a way to pick up a huge win that kind of altered the landscape for the time being in the NFC. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about our top performers for this week. We got plenty of Thanksgiving games, Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Ravens. We got a Black Friday game, Cam, between the Bears and the Eagles. Yeah, it's getting wild out here. So we're going to get into it. Of course, before we do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Cam, how you doing, man? Welcome to week 13.
Doing great. There's football pretty much every day this week. Like you mentioned, it's Monday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, to get Saturday at this point, right? You got college games, but I'm really excited. Like you mentioned, some of the top performers, George Pickens and Myles Garrett. I feel like I've chosen my George Pickens twice this year, but that's how well he's playing. Jake, CeeDee Lamb is there as well. Let's not forget he's another one of the best receivers in the NFL. But George Pickens each week is just showing up, right? Versus the Raiders, he had 144 yards this week, 146 yards against the Eagles. So I mean, the guy's balling out. And then Myles Garrett, 4-sack game against the Ravens, and now 3-sack game against the Raiders. And Jake, what I will say is watching that Raiders game with Myles Garrett there, not only does Myles Garrett eat, but the other guys around him, they eat as well. They had 10 total sacks that game. So Myles Garrett, probably one of the best pass rushers, whatever, to do it. That can be argued, but he's putting up a clinic out there and to be honest, he might break the sack record, Jake. I think he's close to it, and I think he can get it done. But those are my top 2 performers from week 12.
You know how the saying goes, something crazy is going to happen, or something crazy is going to have to happen for that to happen. Well, something crazy is going to have to happen for that not to happen, because he already has 18 sacks, Cam. He should get this pretty easily. He has a game where he just had 3 sacks. He had a 4-sack game. I believe he had a 5-sack game at one point this year. He's been insane. And
stop him.
this week, he's going against Brock Purdy and the 49ers. That might be an opportunity there. We shall see. But let's talk about our top performers for this week, Cam. I'm going to start off. I'm going to go with the quarterback here. First time ever I'm mentioning him, because I could have mentioned him at any point. This week just feels too good. You got Trayvon Merrick, who's suspended for punching Jawan Jennings in the groin. Idiot. Then you got right in front of the ref. I don't know what he's
punching, just doing
boom, like and in slow motion, it looks even worse. So Merrick suspended. He's going to try to appeal. He should not be allowed to play, in my opinion. And then you have J.C. Horn, who, Cam, you have been in the NFL. The concussion protocol, isn't it really hard to get back and play on Sunday if you suffer a concussion on a Monday night game?
Yeah. Depending on who you are as well, right? If you're someone that the team needs, they might kind of, speed that up. But if you go into the tent, it's gonna be a little tough to get back out there.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, it sounds like 2 of the most important entities of that secondary in Carolina are going to be out. And oh, by the way, they're going up against the MVP of the league right now, betting odds favorite by a country mile, Matthew Stafford, who has 30 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and his next touchdown pass, if he doesn't throw a pick beforehand, will break the all-time record for most touchdowns without an interception. Cam, he's my top performer this week. I think he's going to go off. I don't like that matchup at all for Carolina. This feels like, okay, they're 6-6. This feels like the fall off, Cam. We talked about how kind of, for lack of a better term, how much of a joke the NFC South is. This is when it starts to feel like, okay, even Tampa could probably get in with a losing record at this point. It's not a good division, and I think they're going to get clobbered by Matthew Stafford.
I agree, Jake. That NFC South is getting smoked right now by the NFC West. The Rams put it to the Buccaneers this past week. It was hurtful because I played for the Bucs, but just to see the masterclass that the Rams put on was amazing. Kobe Durant had my favorite play of the game. We'll wait till we get to that game, Jake. But Kobe Durant had that he stole that interception from K-Dot, and that was pretty sick. But yeah, I love Matthew Stafford as your quarterback for this week. Great pick there. Jake, mine, I'm going with the team that you mentioned at the beginning of the year is going to be – no, sorry. You said that about the Patriots. You said the Patriots are going to be a sneaky team. This is another black horse team that I think is going to be really impactful, especially once they get to the playoffs. But I'm going to go with the Bears. I'm going to go with
They were the other team I liked. Yeah, I think they had to make the playoffs, actually.
Yes. Caleb Williams. I think, Jake, are they leading the division? They might be close to it. But
they're number 3 in the NFC, Cam.
Yes. The Bears. I like them winning actually against the Eagles with Caleb Williams. I think Dak Prescott showed the world the chink in the armor for the Eagles, right? I think that he scored right before the second half started, and then right after that they started clicking. So I like Caleb Williams to do something very similar versus Steelers. He had 3 touchdowns, Jake, and that Steelers defense is pretty damn tough. And then I'm like, okay, who's calling the Steelers, Jake? They've taken the ball away like 5 times one game. I'm like, oh, there's no way they'll beat the Bears. And then I'm like, oh, okay, who's calling the defense for the Steelers? It's Arthur Smith. No wonder why it's discombobulated over there. They got Hall of Famers on that defense, but they're not putting it together how you'd want them to. And so the Bears snuck away with that W against the Steelers, and I think they'll do the same thing against the Eagles. But I got Caleb Williams as my quarterback top performer this week.
I like it. And by the way, I should have realized this. I did pick the Bears to win, but I should have realized this. The reason why I almost picked the Steelers was the turnover thing, right? Well, Guess what? The Bears have 24 takeaways and lead the NFL. So there you go. They're like the same team, but the Bears do it a little bit better, even as well as it feels like the Steelers, they need something, they get it. Well, the Bears very much do that. My running back this week is I don't believe I've used him yet. So this should be a newbie. It is rookie RJ Harvey of the Broncos taking on the Commanders. Cam, you could go out there at running back and probably run for 120 against this Commanders defense right now. They are banged up. So give me RJ Harvey. It feels like this is the week. Unfortunately, J.K. Dobbins, cannot get out of his own way with the injuries. It's really unfortunate. He's such a talent. So this is RJ Harvey's backfield. And they've been kind of waiting for him to take off. In the last game before the bye, they played against the Chiefs. That's one of the better run defenses in football. Well, welcome on. The Commanders are not good against the run. RJ Harvey is going to go off this week. He is my top performer at running back.
I like that, Jake. RJ Harvey, not only is he dominant on the ground, but also in the air. He's been catching the ball really well in the backfield. I've been mentioning that. And Jake, I mentioned before that I'm seeing this trend, right? I'm seeing Bijan Robinson catch the football in the backfield. You got your Christian McCaffrey, of course. Christian and Alvin Kamara, they started that train, right? The pass catching running back. But I'm seeing a lot more of it happen, and it's been really cool to see more offenses take advantage of the running back. One person. I'm not going to go running back this game, Jake. I did 2 tight ends, but I'm just going to stick with one. I'm going to go with Colby Parkinson from the Rams. Right, you did mention Matthew Stafford having a MVP type of season. Well, Colby Parkinson has stepped in really nicely. Tyler Higbee, who's been playing football for 10, 11 years, we like it. We love a Higbee, right? He was a rookie when I was on my second year, Jake. And so having a guy like Colby Parkinson step in for him, he's been really effective. The Rams are running that 13 personnel really nicely, but Colby scored in the past 3 games, which has been amazing. I mean, I don't know when Tyler Higbee scored in 3 games in a row. So Colby Parkinson, he kind of has that heat check a little bit, Jake. And so what I want to look out for, right, is do the Rams move on from Tyler Higbee at some point, or they stick with Colby Parkinson? What does that look like? I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but Colby's heating up, and we want to keep an eye out for that. But he's been crushing it. 41 yards last game, 14 the one before that against the Seahawks, his former team, and then 41 against the 49ers. So he's been doing a good job of catching the football, especially in the screen games, and finding the end zone.
Yeah, I love what I've seen from Colby Parkinson. I think people forget the athlete, the talent he is, and if they keep using that 13 personnel, or if they don't, He can make teams pay because you still have to worry about Puka Nacua, who can come through the C gap. As I'm now seeing that play's going viral right now. But, he's been doing that. That's not anything new. They did that against the Texans in week 1. So, he's been going through the C gap, and it's really kind of created issues, for linebackers to cover him. And now
throws you off.
Yeah. And now he's got wide open grass. Well, say you now all of a sudden try and stop him in doing that. Well, now Colby's open or Devontae's open. So this is really kind of what the Rams are trying to do. They're trying to get you on your heels, and that's what they're doing. And I think, Colby is really benefiting. I think he's had 3 straight touchdown games. If not, I think it's 3. I expect him to find the end zone this week as well. So I like that pick. I'm going to go back to the well here. This is a repeat, but he's one of my favorite players on the field. I didn't love what he did off it, but I love watching him play on it. Rashee Rice. I think he is going off. There's always one Thanksgiving just blow up game. Remember it was, or it's Christmas. Do you remember it was maybe a couple years ago when Alvin Kamara had like 5 touchdowns?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Rashee Rice is going to have 5 touchdowns, but against the Cowboys secondary and the Chiefs, the Chiefs need all the help they can get right now because they are a good football team they're playing on hard mode. That schedule is insane.
Yeah.
They need this win. It's on, it's in front of everybody. I think Rashee Rice is going for like $170 plus and like 2 touchdowns and maybe like 12 catches. Like, I think he's going to have that big of a game against the Cowboys. And they're going to need to, because I think the Cowboys are going to be right there at the end of this game. So if the Chiefs want to win in Jerry World, they're going to have to lean on Rashee Rice.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Rashee Rice, he went off against the Colts, Jake. You talk about like that fourth quarter, it was all Rashee Rice, like catching the ball, getting the ball within kicking range, just doing the best that he could against the Colts. And mind you, Jake, the Colts are one of the best teams in the NFL. So for the Chiefs to get that win, it's like, oh, the Chiefs are still here. Rashee Rice being effective in the pass catching game, which was great. What I like what the Chiefs have done, they got Dameon Pierce recently. Kareem Hunt, he had his best running game last week, which was amazing. But Isaiah Pacheco's out. The Chiefs aren't as good where they can't run the ball. Right, they need to free up Patrick Mahomes in some type of way, and so getting Dameon Pierce is great. Kareem Hunt running the ball the best that he's run it this year, and then like you mentioned, Rashee Rice finding his way down the field.
And they'll have Pacheco this week, so there you go. They're getting healthier, right? Yes. They need to. So
yes, loaded backfield, which is fantastic. And so, Jake, for this week, the player that I'm going with the defensive player, since I already went quarterback, went tight end. This for my defensive player, I'm going to go Carson Schwetzinger from the Browns. He's been crushing
balling,
it, right?
Man.
They're balling. You got a guy like Myles Garrett in front of you. That defensive line is cooking. So really, for Carson, you just got to play cleanup. I think he had about 13 tackles. He had 11 tackles against the Raiders. So he's been balling out there. 10 against the Ravens, had 1 interception, and then 9 against the Jets, had a sack. So he's proven himself in this space. It is at the professional level. It's very tough to do. So to have a linebacker come in, taking place of Jeremiah Osu-Koroma, and play at the level he's playing, that's really impressive. And so shout out to Carson, and I think he won't get rookie of the year. I mean, he might get rookie defensive player of the year, but he won't get rookie of the year because rookie of the year is going to go to JSN. But Carson is doing this thing on the defensive side, and I got to show love to the linebacker room. So I'm going Carson for my defensive player this week.
I really like that, Cam. I am going to go, I love my pass rushers. Anytime I go with defense, I am going to go with a throwback here. Somebody you wouldn't expect, but I think you might have actually gone with him at one point this year. I could be wrong. Khalil Mack, welcome back to the forefront. I think this is his week to shine. They're going to need him. Oh, man, are they going to need him? Because the Chargers, there's not a lot going right for the Chargers right now. They need to get a win. Well, they're playing the Raiders, and Stone Forsythe just had the worst game I think I've ever seen a left tackle play. Gave up 9 pressures. To be fair, Myles Garrett was lined up against him, so let's be fair. But Khalil Mack can still play, man. And that Chargers defense, there's still a Chargers defense. They're still there. So give me Khalil Mack. I think he's going to get 2, maybe even 3 sacks this week and a boatload of pressure. So he'll be a top performer on the defense, and I'm excited about it.
I like that, Jake. Khalil Mack, I think he had a sack against Aaron Rodgers like in his first game back, and I'm like, yeah, still a problem. Still a problem.
Still got it.
And at one point, Jake, he was the best defensive player in the league, and Aaron Donald was playing football. So, they were like that 1 and 2, and that was pretty impressive to see. So Khalil Mack, I like that pick. And then, Jake, I think you picked him last week. I'm gonna pick him this week, Jared Verse, just as a defensive force. I mean, I don't know. We're really appreciating what we're seeing right now. His sack numbers may not be crazy, even though he had 2 against the Buccaneers, but the amount of pressures that he's bringing to the table, he had 6 last week. He had 7 against the Seahawks, bro. Like that's insane. You're just winning most of your reps. For 50% of your reps, you're pretty much winning. And so it's the second year. There's no sophomore slump. You talk about Carson Schwarzenegger from the Browns. Like, not saying he has that similar type of play, but young players on the defense side of the football playing at a high level, you got to tip your cap off, because these offenses, they're doing a whole bunch, right? Carson's going up against Christian McCaffrey next week. He'll have his hands full, but Jared Verse going against the Panthers, he might have 3 sacks that game, Jake. I think he's gonna have 3 sacks against that Panthers offensive line, because they're known to give up about 5 sacks per game. So I feel like Byron Young and Jared Verse are going to eat next week.
Yeah, and Cam, by the way, if he averages 4 pressures a game, he is going to have more pressures this year than he did last year. And I don't think people are realizing somehow he's getting better. And that's just, it's
Defensive
crazy.
Rookie of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, he was incredible last year. The sacks are the only thing that was against him. But I mean, he has as many, and you won't even believe this, he has as many pressures as Myles Garrett.
Yeah, a force to reckon with. He traded with Aaron Donald, and he's like, I got it now. I understand it now.
Yeah, I like that stat, because that's like a fun fact that no one would guess. But anyway, let's move on to Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow. Man, time flies when you're having fun. Well, hopefully you're having fun, because tomorrow, it sounds like, I'm not saying that this is greatest slate of all time, but the Thanksgiving game should be fun. I expect all of them to come down to the wire, and they should all be about a 1-score game. So, yeah. Cam, I'm going to start off Packers-Lions. Part of me wants to pick the Packers. I don't love the Lions' pass protection. Jared Goff just sounds like he's going to fold. As we are talking, he's going to fold as soon as Micah Parsons gets in his face. And yet, I just can't pick against the Lions where they are right now. And I think they're going to be able to run the football on Green Bay a little bit. It'll soften things up for Goff. So give me the Lions in a 27-20 fun affair that comes down to the wire. Lions win this one in Ford Field. I think that's really where I'm going with that one. They're a really good home team. If this was in Lambeau, especially late November, I would take the Packers.
Yeah, no, I like that, Jake. For this one, the Packers, their run game hasn't really been where I would like it. The Packers have. I'm big on the run game. It hasn't been up there. I like it to be a little bit better. Their defense is doing pretty good, right? McDuffie's doing his thing. Parsons doing his thing, but the run game isn't too great. I think, what was it last game? Their run game for the Packers, Wilson had 107 yards rushing. So they picked it up a little bit, but
that's their first 100-yard rushing game this year. Josh Jacobs, nope. Emmanuel Wilson, first start, first 100-yard game.
Yeah, and that's kind of crazy. I mean, he got it because no one knows of his game yet. But his first start, he got 100 yards, which is pretty decent. But against the Lions, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to outrush him, who ran for 219 yards in week 12. So 2 touchdowns, and it was outstanding in the pass game as well. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, I mentioned him pretty much every week. He's been excellent. And so I got the Lions winning this one, Jake, 27 to the Packers 24. Micah Parsons had 2 sacks last week, which is pretty impressive. McDuffie had a pick and a sack. They were pretty active on the defensive side, but I just don't know if it'll be enough for this Lions offense. The Lions offense has been cooking. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is trying to catch up to Jonathan Taylor when it comes to who is the best running back in the NFL. But I think he'll be on full display against the Packers. And Jake, I just got to keep talking about this, but Jordan loves his off-schedule throws, bro. the throws that he makes when he's leaning backward, just like dumps it over the head of the defenders, man. It's been impressive all year, but not going to be impressive enough to beat the Lions.
I know. Find me somebody who loves you as much as Cam loves Jordan Love's seam ball.
Yeah, seam ball, back foot throw. Like, dude, he is impressive, brother.
Oh man, I love it. All right, Chiefs, Cowboys. Another, like, say what you will, the Cowboys are fun football, man. They keep it fun. They got a great offense. Dak Prescott versus Patrick Mahomes, and I'm tempted to pick Dallas, but I'm going to stick with the Kansas City Chiefs because I think they're going to win out. I'm very high on Kansas City. They're battle tested. They're getting healthier. And I think people are just sick of them. And what that leads is, unfortunately, it's this kind of, it's not analysis paralysis, but it's more so you get a bias just because you get tired of them. Recency, success bias. I don't know. We call it fatigue, right? It's when the obvious MVP or the obvious coach of the year doesn't win because voters are tired of voting for the same guy. Right. Well, unfortunately for you, the Chiefs are just going to keep winning. So, they found a way to win that Colts game. That was a big thing. Oh man, it's going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. The AFC is really weak. I think this is a beautiful opportunity for the Chiefs, who, if the season ended today, wouldn't make the playoffs. But I think they are likely going to be my favorite to go to the Super Bowl when it's all said and done. So give me the Chiefs in a really close game. I like the Cowboys. I'm kind of hoping, like, if the Cowboys do win, it makes things really interesting in the NFC. You start to see now that game later on against the Eagles, there's stakes involved. And, you'd like to see more than just 8 teams in the NFC, because right now no one thinks Carolina is going to make the playoffs. This is essentially the prove it game. Okay, if you go and you beat the defending Super Bowl champions and the defending AFC champions in back-to-back weeks, people are going to take you seriously. So we'll see what the Cowboys do. I don't think they're going to get it done, though. Chiefs 30, Cowboys 23.
Yeah, Jake, I think it's going to be a high, I'd say a high-scoring game because the Chiefs know how to play some good defense, but this one, I'm going to go Chiefs 24, Cowboys 21. I think it's going to be pretty close because of Pickens, right? Pickens has been doing a good job. One of the, like I mentioned, one of the better receivers in the NFL this year. But I don't think they'll be able to get it done because, like we talked about it before, the Chiefs' run game is getting a lot better. Kareem Hunt is running the ball really well. He ran for 100 last week for the first time. Pacheco, like you mentioned, is coming back. And I think when the Chiefs run the football well, it's just hard to catch up and play good ball. It is hard, bro. They're going to be cooking on all cylinders. So I got the Chiefs winning this one. And then, like you mentioned, Rashee Rice, I know he's your top performer this week. He had 141 yards last week. And like I mentioned, against the Colts, he was running rampant. Like, I was like, somebody stop this guy because the Chiefs are going to get in field goal position, which they did at will because Rashee Rice was just running left and right. And so just imagine that running game being increased with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, Dameon Pierce. Man, it's going to be a recipe for disaster for most teams. And like you mentioned, I like the Chiefs winning out, bro. I think they found their rhythm. It's midway through the season. They're tired of people talking that shit, and they're trying to go back to the chip. So I got the Chiefs winning this one by 30.
I'm totally with you on that one. All right, next up, and last but certainly not least, on Thursday, we have the Bengals. Joe Burrow making his return. Feels like he didn't even play this year. That's how long ago it was the last time he played. Joe Burrow taking on Lamar Jackson. They're 3-8, but like I said, just you get rid of the 3-8. You just pretend that they're a playoff team, and this game is, you could market this game into one of the best games of the year. I am going to take the Ravens in this one. I think the Ravens are the better team with Joe Burrow, without Joe Burrow. I think Joe Flacco was playing well. The Bengals are such a bad defense. It's like historically bad. I just don't trust them enough. Jamar Chase is back from his suspension. That will help, and that will also make this game a little bit better and help Cam's fantasy team out. But that said, how are you going to stop Derrick Henry? I think they got Derrick Henry going at the right time because Lamar's been playing poorly. I think Lamar gets back on the right side of things, and I think the Ravens control this game and win 34-27.
Okay. Oh wow, 34-27. To be honest, Jake, I don't even know if this one's going to be that close. Reason being is like you mentioned that Bengals defense. That Bengals defense has been a little suspect, and the Ravens defense has been a lot better. So for this game, I'm going to go Ravens 28, the Bengals 21. And we talked about the Bengals. You mentioned Joe Burrow coming back. What I will say though, Jake, is the Bengals put up a pretty good fight against the Patriots. I mean, they were close. Like it was like one drive towards the end of the game. They were 6 points down, and they could have came back and beat the Patriots, who are number one in the AFC. They have the second runner for the MVP as in Drake May, but they did a good job of really stopping them at the goal line. I just talked about their defense being piss poor, but they did a good job against the Patriots. Whenever they got to the red zone, they stopped them. They settled for field goals, and that was pretty impressive. But I don't think they'll be able to do the same thing against the Ravens. Lamar Jackson knows he didn't play too well last week. They're number one in the division, to be fair, and so he's like, all right, let me not force anything. But I got Lamar Jackson, bro, having an MVP type of day. He was quiet last week, but I think this week he has that type of a day. And then Joe Burrow coming back. I mean, I just want the man to stay healthy. I want the man to stay healthy. I want the man to throw the ball to Jamar Chase. That'd be outstanding. But Chase Brown, Jake, they're running the ball pretty decently. He ran for 107 yards last week. So it'd be a good shootout on the offensive sides, and it'll be an excellent game. At first, I was like, the Bengals, Ravens, like we got to skip this premier game. But with Joe Burrow coming back, with Lamar Jackson playing, this is premier, brother.
It's pretty damn good. I will say that. They lucked out because it wasn't not that long ago. Black Friday game. I mean, this is huge, Cam. This is huge for the NFC. The Bears are playing an easier schedule. Okay, they're playing a really easy schedule, probably one of the easiest of all time. The Patriots are playing the sixth easiest in NFL history, and the Bears are not far behind them. So you want to find a happy medium. You don't want to take away credit from a rookie head coach in Ben Johnson, the job that he's doing over there. But you also need to be understanding that the season's not over, and the schedule could be very predictive of what you end up being. And so this is a legit game against one of the best teams in football in the Philadelphia Eagles on the road in Philly on a short week. I'm going to take the Eagles in this one. But I'll tell you right now, if the Bears do win this game, they're for real, because this is not going to be easy. This is the Vic Fangio, not even a return because he's not going to Chicago. They're going there. So Vic Fangio's going against his former team. And I just feel like this is a game where if the Bears win against the Philadelphia Eagles, I think this almost guarantees that the NFC West will have the number one seed in the playoffs. So that is why this game is so big, because if the Eagles lose this game to the Bears, the Eagles have the tiebreaker against the Rams. They don't play Seattle. If they lose this, they'd be 2 behind the Rams if the Rams win against the Panthers, which they should. So this is a huge game. That said, though, I think the Eagles know that, and as kind of piss poor as the offense has been, I think you can run against the Bears and you could have success. Is Saquon playing? I don't know, but I don't think it's going to matter. Eagles are going to control this thing. They're going to win in the ugliest way possible. 23-14. Going to be quite the opposite of Thanksgiving, which I think will get more high-octane passing attacks. I think Black Friday is going to be more of kind of it's a slow burn, Cam. If you like your slow burn movies, you'll enjoy that one.
Okay. Slow burn, Jake. Well, I think the Eagles might burn on this one, Jake. I got the Bears 25 to the Eagles 23. They already beat the Cowboys, Jake. I think Ben Johnson's for real. You talk about your guy Monangai finding the end zone. He had 1 touchdown. He went 2 for 48. Caleb went 19 for 35, which is not great, but decent. But threw for 3 touchdowns, brother. And so the way that they won that football game was impressive. DeAndre Swift, he's been fumbling a little bit, so that's why they have Monangai playing a lot more. But Colston Loveland, that he was going to be my top performer this week, but I went with our guy Kobe instead. But Loveland's playing really well. D Jackson on the defensive side, he had 15 tackles, 1 TFL. Nick Wright had a sick one-handed interception with a toe tap. I mean, these guys are just playing good football on the defensive side. And you mentioned it at the top of the show, right? The Steelers are known for taking the football away on defense. Well, the Bears doing the same thing. I think Ben Johnson's been crushing it. And in this first year, he's finding a lot of success. And then you go to the Eagles. Right, Saquon Barkley, I think we only had like 22 rushing yards last week. Might be hurt. Are we going to see Tank Bigsby? What are we going to see on that side of the football? AJ Brown finally had a 100 receiving yard game, but they didn't win. So I think at one point they're trying to appease AJ Brown, give him the football, but then on the other side they're not winning the game. But the defense is always going to be coming through swinging. So Caleb Williams is going to have to make sure he stays upright. He only took, I think, 1 sack last week. So this week, or 2 sacks. So this week, he's going to have to stay upright against this Eagles defense. But, Jake, man, I got the Bears winning. I'm sick of the Eagles, dog. I'm still hurt when the Eagles beat the Rams by that field goal block. So we need the Bears to win. So I'm rocking with the Bears this week.
There's the Cam bomb.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, man. He dropped the bomb on that one. He took the Bears. I think the Eagles win. I think Jalen Hurts is going to take care of the football. He's been doing it all year, but if he doesn't, we'll see. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Right. Everyone here that watches this show knows that I hope you are right. But I unfortunately think that they are going to win.
You don't trust the Bears. You don't trust the Bears. It's cool.
Not that much. Not yet.
DJ Moore's going off too, bro. 2 touchdowns. I mean, these guys are cooking. I got faith in them.
I mean, hey, we move on to the primetime games. We got 2 more. Man, a lot of primetime games. Broncos, Commanders. I'm going to go with the Broncos, just like anybody who has any idea what they're talking about in 2025. Commanders are just a disaster. It's unfortunate, but I kind of saw this coming, not with the injuries and everything, but I saw them taking a step back. This has been a huge step back. At this point, I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to return. I don't know if he should return. I know he wants to, regardless if they can make the playoffs or not. But this is going to be the RJ Harvey game. Like I said, the Broncos struggle to score, but even they will score against the Commanders, and their defense is really good. I'm going to have Broncos 27-13 and the biggest margin of all of the primetime games.
Yeah, Jake, I'm going to go this one. Broncos 28, Commanders 10. I mean, Deebo Samuels, he's playing pretty decent, had a touchdown, 70 yards last week. Matt Gay is missing some field goals, making some field goals, not exactly where they want him to be, former Ram guy. So, yeah, bro, I got the Broncos winning this one. Their defense is one of the best in the league. They get after the pass rusher. I think Marcus Mariota's been doing the best that he can, but just not enough, brother. So this is a healthy skip for me as in primetime game. I'm going Broncos, and I'm just gonna shut my eyes and not even think twice about it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So that's the RJ Harvey game.
Yeah,
there you go.
Absolutely.
Monday Night Football should be fun. The Giants have no business playing on Monday Night Football based on their record, but they're one of the highest scoring bad teams I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
Jameis is playing, so hey, it's good TV at the end of the day.
Jameis always keeps it close, but I think the Patriots are going to win this one by 10. Give me the Patriots 31-21, but Jameis will make this thing fun enough to watch. I would say this is definitely more of a game than Sunday Night Football. I just think Patriots, it's in Foxborough, and we're going into, this is late November, right? Or is this December? I mean, what day is that for Monday? I think that's December. It is December 1st. Yeah, December in Foxborough. That's not great. So I think they'll be able to run the football. The Giants are a horrendous run defense. No idea why. They're awful. I'm not going to. That's why. Wasn't going to do it for a third week and be wrong again about TreVeyon Henderson being a top performer, but he's a top performer this week. Don't be surprised. Patriots will win this one. I don't want to say easily. They're going to control it, and I think Jameis will give them The Giants will feel like they're more in it than they are. That's what I will say. But 31-21 Patriots.
31-21 Patriots. Jake, I'm going to go a little bit closer of a gap in this game. Reason being is because the Bengals, like I mentioned, they were really close to beating the Patriots, Jake. They were like one drive away from beating the Patriots. I think that game ended up 26-20. And so for this one, I'm going to go 24-21 Giants. I think it's going to be even closer than we think. 24-21 Giants. I think.
Oh, you think the Giants are winning?
Oh, sorry. 24-21 Patriots. My bad.
Oh,
my
okay.
Bad.
I was
24-21 Patriots.
Okay.
My bad. But the Giants were close to beating the Lions, Jake. 34-27. They lost towards the end with an interception. And of course, Aiden Hutchinson sack that put it away. But Jameis had a chance. He had that sick catch, right, and scored. I mean, I think the Giants have a little bit of juice whenever they got Jameis behind and playing quarterback. He has Wan'Dale catching the football really nicely. Wan'Dale went 9 for 14 for 156 yards. My guy, like the offense is clicking pretty decently. Like you mentioned, though, that defense isn't stopping the run. They're not playing their best, so that's why the Patriots are going to win this game. And then also too, right, Drake May is up for MVP. So I think this Giants defense is going to make it a little bit more tough for him. I think the teams that you think are trash are going to make it a little bit tougher for a second-year quarterback to get the MVP. They're not trying to have the game where like, oh, Drake May's the MVP now because he scored 4 touchdowns against you. Like you don't want to be that defense. You want to be the defense that says, "Hey, let Matthew Stafford get it. Let's not have Drake May have his welcome to the NFL game and put him up on this pedestal at his second year." I think as a defensive player, it pisses me off even thinking about it. So there's no way that I think that the Giants will let that happen. Just like the Bengals didn't. I don't think the Giants will either.
Well, we move on to the premier games that aren't primetime games. Honestly, this one should have been Texans, Colts. Texans have a Super Bowl defense, and Davis Mills is 3-0 as a starter. What is happening?
Yeah,
sounds like CJ Stroud might not play. So
yeah, you were right about that game too, Jake. You picked the Texans, right, over the Bills?
No, so that's the funny thing is I did go with the Bills, but remember I was like, I want to pick the Texans so bad I wouldn't be surprised if they win. I think this is going to be like a 1-point game.
Got it.
But I like the Texans, man. They've also played a ridiculously hard schedule, like one of the toughest schedules in football.
Yeah.
And they're still kicking despite the fact their quarterback has missed 4 games now. So
yeah, like this is what you want. This is what you want from the Commanders, right? Like Jaden Daniels goes down. Like this is what you expect from the Commanders defense led by Bobby Wagner. Like
and Mariota has given them a shot, man. Their defense just has not been good. And I know they got banged up and losing Marshawn Lattimore sucks, but maybe don't cut Emmanuel Forbes.
Emmanuel Forbes was getting torched, to be fair, Jake.
He was getting
torched.
I'm just making jokes, but no, it just you'd like to see them dig down deeper, and I think the Texans deserve a lot of credit because they've been in a lot of games. They lost the game to the Rams, they lost that game to the Bucks really late in the game on the final play. Actually, Baker won it on the final play. They're a good football team. They might not make the playoffs, but they're a good football team, and they have a Super Bowl level defense. They're second in scoring. I'm going to go with the Colts though, because this is at Lucas Oil, and I just think Jonathan Taylor is going to do just enough to get them over the hump here. Colts are coming off a brutal loss to the Chiefs. They got to stop the bleeding. People are starting to say, are they pretenders? You don't want to get into that mix. So a win over the Texans will go a long way, and I do think they get that done. But if this was on the road, I think that would be enough for me to take the Texans in another win. So I'm going to go with the Colts in this one.
Okay. Well, Jake, for this one, I went against the Texans last week. I went against the Bears as well. And I got them both winning this week, Jake. I got them both winning. I got the Texans winning this one against the Colts 24-21. The reason being is the Texans, they were on Josh Allen's ass. I mean, Daniel Jones, you better get ready, bro, because it is going to be a long day. Josh Allen got sacked 8 times. Oh my God. He got sacked 8 times. The Colts offensive line is a bit better, right? You got Jonathan Taylor running the football. Dalvin Cook is a great running back, premier running back. Jonathan Taylor is an exceptional running back. He's an outstanding running back. He was shut down against the Chiefs. I think he only had about 50 to 60 yards. And so this Texans defense, is he going to have time to even get going? That's my question, right? This Texans defense, are they going to be in the backfield before he even gets that motor going? I know he wants to because he didn't have a great game against the Chiefs, but I don't think they'll be able to get it done this game, Jake. I don't know if the Colts will be able to get it done. I think Mills, he's on a hot streak right now. Chubb, to be honest, though, their running game, Marks, he ran pretty decently, but I'm gonna need Nick Chubb to find his way this game, right? It's the game, it's you're going against Jonathan Taylor on the other side. I think the running game needs to pick up on his behalf. I feel like I've been talking about him each week. Him and Alvin Kamara, for me, they've been a little bit disappointing this year, but Chubb's, I'm gonna need him to step it up. But like I mentioned, man, Will Anderson, Hunter, our guy Hunter, Daniil Hunter, they've been getting after the quarterback. 2 TFLs, 2 sacks apiece.
Aliens.
Yeah, they've been crushing it. They've been crushing it.
They have. I mean, 57 pressures for Hunter and 64 for Will Anderson. It's insane. Hunter's won 22% of his reps, and Will Anderson's won 27. So it's utterly insane what they're doing. And
have you seen, Jake, have you seen like their engagement with D'Amico on the sideline? Once they make a play, they go right to D'Amico. Like he's jumping up and down, like he's really excited for him.
Oh, yeah.
Once you have that belief, like it's kind of like a Sean McVay. Like Sean McVay pours into his players, but once you see that from a head coach to a player, you're like, oh, these guys are going to go all out for him. And so I've been seeing that in this Texans defense. I think they have that faith behind them. So I think they put it to the Colts. But what I will say though, Jake, is I wanted to call out for the Colts. Zaire Franklin had about, I think, 14 tackles last game. And then they had a linebacker have about 20 tackles last game. Jermaine Pratt had 20 tackles. So I want to call that out. He's been running around pretty decently. So I want to shout him out there.
So he must be really happy to be back with Lou Anarumo. I mean, good Lord, 20 tackles.
Yeah, crushing.
That's insane.
The Bengals miss. I talk about every show, but the Bengals miss Lou Anarumo. They miss him big time.
Yeah, I don't know who their defensive coordinator is, but it ain't going well over there. So we got the Bills and Steelers, and I'm not really even going to spend too much time on this. I think both teams are incredibly disappointing. The Steelers will probably have Aaron Rodgers back this week from the sound of it. The Bills can't win on the road. I do think that changes this week. I think they finally do win. I'm going to go 28-24, but neither of these teams scare me. Neither of these teams are exciting. It's been really disappointing to watch. Josh Allen is throwing to a new receiver every single week, and that offensive line did him no favors, like you brought up against the Texans. And then on the Steelers side of things, they force turnovers, and that's why they win the games that they win. But it's like Aaron Rodgers is throwing to one of the most overrated wide receivers in NFL history. DK Metcalf is horrible. He is not a number one receiver, and he's being exposed as that. And your guy, you mentioned him earlier, George Pickens, if they had him with Rodgers, I think he'd give him 1 or 2 more wins. That's the difference, I think, that he's making, and not in the best way. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills 28-24, but both of these teams are incredibly disappointing.
Yeah, what I will say, Jake, is I'm going to go with the Bills as well because they got embarrassed against the Texans. 8 sacks against the former MVP, not good. So I'm sure there's a lot of cussing going on in that locker room. It wasn't great. I got the Bills winning this one, Jake, 25-21. What I will say, though, the Steelers have impressed me a little bit with their running game. I was a little weary about that with Warren and Gainwell back there. Can they run the ball? What does that look like? But they've been running the ball pretty decently. And so I think Gainwell maybe had 100 yards rushing this past game, which is really impressive. And they started to pick it up on that side. But I shake my head on the defensive side. I talked about at the beginning of the show, Arthur Smith calling some of these defenses, right? They have one game where they get 5 turnovers. They're lined up with the Texans and scoring the ball on defense and just causing havoc. And then now they're giving up big plays, and it just doesn't really make sense. So that's why I think the Bills are going to win this game. They're not as sharp on the defensive side as I want them to be. TJ Watt should be having a year like Myles Garrett. He's not necessarily having that with Highsmith on the other side, with Jalen Ramsey behind him. Like, there's just so much on that defense, but they're not taking advantage of it. And on the offensive side, like you mentioned, Aaron Rodgers, is he washed? Is he not? I'm not sure, but the offense isn't clicking like they should be. Bills up for this one. after getting embarrassed by the Texans.
Yeah. Well, man, in front of everybody, that was
Woo.
bad.
Bad.
You convert what was it, 4th and 27, and then you still don't win the game? What are you doing?
They had a lot of people that were hurt, to be fair. I was texting with the Bills folks like, hey, what the hell is going on over here Thursday Night Football? They had a lot of people that were hurt, but every team has folks that are hurt. You got to find a way to win and not get embarrassed like that. That was brutal. So they'll come back with a vengeance this week, I think, against the Steelers.
Yeah, I just think that Brandon Beane has lost his traction, and he's not that great of a GM. But he was quick. Remember, he got a little too comfortable and I don't know if you remember this, and he was quick to say, yeah, we don't want it to fall apart like the Rams did. Remember that in 2022?
Yeah.
Life comes at you fast.
Yeah, talking that shit.
Against Les Snead of all people, guy that's actually won a Super Bowl. Anyway, we move on to, speaking of the Rams and Panthers. The Panthers sure know how to put you to sleep on Monday Night Football. They get 3 turnovers on Brock Purdy, can't do anything with it. Bryce Young looked like he regressed in real time on that game. What's going to happen this week? I think the Rams are going to decimate them. I don't think this game's going to be remotely close. I mentioned it earlier. Stafford, one of the top performers of the week at quarterback. And I just feel like if J.C. Horn and Merrick aren't playing, that's not a great team. I know that there's a lot of former Rams. My buddy Bobby Brown plays for them, so obviously I want him to have some success in this one.
One of the linebackers too, Jake, right?
Roseboom, Nick Scott at safety. So, they got guys, Evero, who was with the Rams, and then, of course, Jonathan Cooley, cornerbacks coach. So they have some former guys. Austin Corbett, But I don't see a snowball's chance in hell of them pulling this game off, because if they were going to win this game, they would have looked a lot better on Monday Night Football. They just don't look like that great of a team. They look like a team that won some fluke games. They're 6-6, but I think we all know they're about to fall down into the below 500 spot. And they're one of those classic pretenders that get, weeded out in the last 5 to 6 games of the year. We were just talking about how this is what happens when you get to this point in the year. Going against the Rams, I mean, that's brutal. Panthers, I feel for them, but this is where I'm just going to ask you to just throw this tape away and not just completely sell your stock in Bryce Young, because I do think he can work, and I don't think they should give up on him. But this is going to be one of those games that has people thinking, is he our guy? Don't do that, because this game's not going to be pretty. I don't care if you start Andy Dalton or whoever. It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, the ass whooping that the Rams put on the Buccaneers, I mean, the game was done by halftime, bruh. Like, I'm not playing for the Bucs. Like, that game was done by halftime. The Bucs are leading the division, so them and the Panthers are tied right now. And so, what's going on here? I got the Rams winning by 1,000. Rams 34, Panthers 9. What I will say is, what I didn't like last week, though, when the Bucs were up by so much, is why did they have Matthew Stafford in that starting offense still playing in that game? It was a complete blowout. And I was thinking, well, let's not lax, right? We got the Panthers next week. Let's not take the foot off the gas. We have to blow out every team that we come across. Seattle Seahawks, it doesn't matter who it is. We have to make sure that we put belt to ass. And so what I will say is, for this game, if the Rams are up by halftime, Jake, if the Rams are up 24-3 or 24-0 by halftime, we need to see the next quarterback for the Rams. We need to see the second string. Reason why I say that is we're getting close to the end of the season. If Rico Dowdle if Chris Shula does what he's supposed to do, like he does every week against great running backs, if you shut down Rico Dowdle, I do not want to see Matthew Stafford playing past the third quarter, bro. Because it'd be a shame if we come back here the next week like, hey, man, Rams were up by this many points in the third quarter. We kept Matthew Stafford in, and the bruh got hurt. Or Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. That's just a nightmare for a Rams fan. So I'm going to sit here and say it now. If we're up by a certain amount of points by halftime of that third quarter, Jake, we need to see another quarterback for the Rams, because I'm going to be pissed if not.
No, I get it. I mean, obviously, the grand prize is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And no one is stopping this team if they're healthy. I really don't believe a single team is stopping this team when they're healthy.
Yes.
They might drop the game to Seattle in week 16, although I'm starting to feel like they're not going to. But this Rams team is just a well-oiled machine. They're a freight train. They just got a Keller Witherspoon back. That's going to bolster their secondary. They're getting Tutu Atwell back. That's going to bolster their passing attack. They've been able to do a lot of different things without having a true field stretcher. They've been using Xavier Smith, but he's not the speed threat Atwell is.
He's a rookie, yeah.
Yeah, so you look at those two guys, you add them. They just claimed Darion Kendrick off of waivers. Again, more depth. This team's just filled with depth, So, the Rams are getting better and better and better, and I just don't see them stopping. I got 34-16, so I have them scoring a touchdown and kicking 3 field goals. We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised.
Minute, Jake. Jimmy G and Stetson Bennett, we need to make sure those guys are warming up on the sideline if we're up by half. That's all.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. I mean, and also think about this real quick. Jimmy G could net the Rams a 3rd round compensatory pick if he gets at least $20 million a year. And that's going to be the going rate if they want him to be a starting quarterback in this league. So, yeah, I mean, you're not going to gone are the days because Mac Jones didn't sign to be a starting quarterback. Mac Jones signed to be a backup. 2 years, $8 million. You're not. The quarterbacks are not taking that deal. They're just not. So, yeah, I mean, you'd like to, if you can get Jimmy G some opportunities where he can put out some good film and show everybody, hey, this guy can still play in this league and start, it would help the Rams out in the future. But speaking of the 49ers, as we just kind of brought up with the Mac Jones and, of course, Jimmy Garoppolo played for the 49ers, the 49ers take on the Cleveland Browns. And this is one of my premier games that I circled, Cam, because I think this game is going to be really close. I think the Browns have a Super Bowl caliber defense. They're disgusting. They're very disgusting when they're at home. They're a completely different animal at home. They're, of course, at home hosting the 49ers. Brock Purdy turned the ball over 3 times. And then in addition to that, and keep this in mind, Shedeur Sanders is going to start this game. He just won his first start. That's normally hard to do as a rookie. He did play the Raiders, but he's also the only quarterback in NFL history to pass. He completed 2 different passes for 50-plus yards. So he's not afraid to turn it loose. That could be, a little bit of an issue, right? But I think he's going to take care of the football. I think Quinshon Judkins is going to be able to run the football. And I think this Browns defense is going to be doing enough up front where they're going to win this game, Cam. They're going to beat the 49ers 20-17.
Okay. Welcome to the NFL, Shedeur, huh? I like Shedeur. I like it, Jake. The Browns it's good to see them actually winning football games and turning things around. I do want to see Shedeur find success. I got the 49ers winning this one, though, 20-14. I think Shedeur's going to have a great game, but I just don't know if Christian McCaffrey is going to allow that. I know this Browns defense is excellent, but I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have to get his regardless, however you cut it. Ricky Pearsall is back as well. What I will say, though, I know there was a shakeup with one of the 49ers receivers as well. What happened there? Was it
Brandon Ayuk? He's probably not coming back at this point.
Yes. So with that shakeup there, Jake, how I'm feeling as a player is the other guys are like, okay, if Brandon Ayuk is out, that means Jawan Jennings, that means I'm the guy. Ricky Pearsall, they're like, I'm the guy. George Kittle's like, hey, I got to step up and do a little bit more. A lot of times when there's things going on, there's extra noise within the locker room. I do feel like some of the players are like, hey, let's really lock in. Let's ignore that and let's really lock in. So this one, they know that they can't lose to the Browns, Jake. The 49ers are like, hey, we are Super Bowl contenders in these past 5 years or so. We are too good to let the Browns beat us, and I don't think that's going to happen. So I got the 49ers winning this one, Jake. Like I mentioned, McCaffrey going off. I got Jennings going off as well. But this Browns defense will get after Brock Purdy's ass, right? They did a good job last week of getting after Geno. I think 10 sacks? 10 sacks. I can't believe I'm saying that. 10 sacks. And so this game, I'm going to call out that defensive line is going to get 6 sacks against Brock Purdy. Trent Williams versus Myles Garrett is going to be a sight to see, brother. I'm going to be tuned into that. I hope they line them up across each other each play because it's best on best. And I think Brock Purdy is going to have back to grass a couple times because Myles Garrett is going to get to him, that defense.
I bet you I could talk you into picking the Browns. You ready?
Yeah, how so?
So Jim Schwartz is one of the better defensive coordinators in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Shanahan as a head coach and offensive coordinator against Jim Schwartz is 1-8 all time.
Oh.
His offenses have averaged 15.7 points per game in those games.
Okay, so Schwartz is on Shanahan's ass then.
He's on his ass. You still riding with the 49ers?
Yeah, I'm because Kittle's back, brother. Kittle's back, and like
he does look really good.
Jake, he's just too good, bro. Like I'm like, oh, look at this guy catching one-handers, like diving out, like blocking his ass off. I'm like, it's when you got that going, you got Christian McCaffrey going. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You have to set up 2 guys for each of those guys, and you got Ricky Pearsall and the Juwan Jennings catching the football like nobody's other. I mean, it's going to be hard to deal with. I think it's going to be too hard to deal with. Carson Schlesinger, like I mentioned, my top performer this week, he's going to have his hands full, brother. He's a rookie, and he's going to see Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. He's going to be like, what the hell? What the hell? I think
clearly he's going to do something if he's a top performer this week.
Yeah.
So
he's going to do decent, Jake. He's going to do decent, but I think it's going to be a welcome to the NFL type of game for him. He's going to make the tackles. He's going to make impact plays, but it's not going to be on those 2.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm very intrigued by this game. The rest of the slate, not so much. Seattle and Minnesota, this will be a beatdown. Sam Darnold, you know, he gets a chance going up against his former team. He gets to go back to Minnesota. I think Seattle wins 38-14. Max Brosmer's probably playing. That's not great. It actually is because I think he's probably better than JJ McCarthy, but that's not saying a whole lot. So yeah, I got Seattle 38-14, Cam.
Oh, wow. Max Brosmer. Yeah. Hopefully he has the same type of swag that Mills has at the Texans, but I don't think it'll be this game. Seattle Seahawks are too tough of a team. I got Seattle 31 to the Vikings 7. Aaron Jones running the ball decently, but not enough. He might be the only one to score this week. So, but yeah, it'll be a blowout by the Vikings. JSN might have another 200-yard game, 150-yard game. So it'll be a barn burner, brother.
Yeah, Sam Darnold saying, "Hey, thanks for not signing me. I'm going to the Super Bowl at this rate."
Right.
Jaguars, Titans. Jaguars, I have them winning 26-21. I like the way they're playing, inspired football. The Titans, to me, again, Cam Ward is going to be fun to watch. They have some guys that I like, but the Titans are just not a great football team. It's why they only have 1 win. You know, I think Cam Ward can be a stud in this league, as I've said, and I think he'll give him a chance. But at the end of the day, I just trust Jacksonville way more. I think Jacksonville can make the playoffs. You know, it feels like it's a decent amount of time since that Rams blowout loss in London, and you can see Jacksonville's not a bad team. So yeah, give me Jacksonville 26-21.
Yeah, it's a little close. Like that 21. I'm going to go Jacksonville 34 to the Titans 14. I know.
Damn.
Yeah, I know the Titans had the Seahawks, 30-24. The Cardinals, 30-24. Yeah. Okay, they kept it kind of close, but the Titans, man, I hope Cam Ward has a resurgence in his career, Jake, similar to a Baker Mayfield or a Daniel Jones. It might be with a different team, but yeah, Titans aren't going to be able to get this done. Alec Emanuel, he's one of my favorite receivers, coming out of Stanford, catching the football well for Cam Ward, but it won't bode well against the Jaguars. I got Travis Etienne as a running back on my fantasy, so definitely going the Jags on this one.
Saints, Dolphins, I'm never buying into Tyler Shuck and the Saints ever again. They failed me miserably, letting the Falcons get to 4 wins on the year. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to eviscerate them like they deserve. 38-13. Dolphins have played with an above 500 record. They're 4-7. They can get to 5-7 with this win. If they get to 5-7, Kansas City loses, the Steelers lose, and the Texans lose. All of them would be 6-6. So the Dolphins are probably not making the playoffs. I'm not trying to say they are, but it's interesting because the Dolphins have some big wins, including that one over the Bills. They're going to need to win out, maybe, probably. And, you know, this is one of those kind of gimme games where it's like, all right, you get to play the Saints, then you got the Jets. Guess what, Cam? It gets kind of hard after that. So they need to win this game because, you know, you got the Commanders last week, you got the Saints this week, the Jets. Then you're going to play the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Tua is going to turn the ball over at least twice. Then you got the Bengals, right? That's not going to be easy because, you know, Burrow's playing Chase, T. Higgins. They're trying to finish out the season
Jamar's
strong.
not spitting on people no more, so yeah, it could be
Hopefully
tough.
not.
It could be tough.
And then you got the Bucks at the worst time ever to play the Buccaneers. Week 17. I mean, they're going to need to win games. As bad as Carolina is, you can't just get into the playoffs not winning another game. So
yeah, they might get Mike Evans back by then too, so that's going to be trouble.
And then week 18, you got the New England Patriots in Foxborough. So they need this one, and I believe they're going to get it 38-13. Eviscerate the Saints.
Eviscerate. You're pissed with Tyler Shuck, huh? Yeah,
I don't like being wrong, as you know.
Yeah. I got the Dolphins in this one, 34 to the Saints, 17. I think Taysom Hill is going to show up a little bit more, I hope, because Tyler Shuck is cool, but not that cool. Devon Achane, he's one of my favorite players in the NFL. Just the way he shows up each week, bro. He's daggone impressive. He's been my top performer multiple times, but definitely the Dolphins in this dub here.
Yeah. No, I'm with you that. Falcons, Jets, going to be an ugly one. Kirk Cousins versus who at this point? Tyrod Taylor? Yeah. I'm going to say the Jets win. They've been in most games this year, weirdly enough. I think they win at MetLife Stadium 23-20. I don't like the Falcons on the road. I don't really like the Falcons in general, but definitely not on the road. So, yeah, give me the Jets 23-20.
Nah, I'm going Falcons on this one, bro. 24, Jets 17. Tyrod Taylor, he's doing a decent job, but I got the Falcons winning this one. Just what they did to the Billies. What was it? It was the Billies. Yeah, the Billies that one time. Bijan's still healthy. Unfortunately, Drake London isn't, but I got the Falcons winning this one.
No Drake London, no problem. That's how I see it for the Jets, even though I have them winning by 3. Cardinals and Buccaneers. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be close, but I think the Buccaneers get back in the win column here. I think Baker's going to play. I think Jacoby Brissett will throw a lot of yards, but won't find the end zone very often. So I'll take Tampa in Tampa, 24-16 over the dying Arizona Cardinals.
You know what, Jake? I don't normally go against my Buccaneers like that. If Teddy Bridgewater starts this game, I think the Cardinals win this one.
I agree with you, but I do think Baker's going to play.
Okay, with that arm sling, Jake, I don't know. So what I will say, I'm assuming Baker doesn't play. If Baker doesn't play this one, I'm going to go Cardinals 21 to the Buccaneers 14. If Baker does play, I'm going to go Bucks 24 to the Cardinals 21. Jacoby Brissett, he has had a tough go at it, but he's producing. He has guys like Trey McBride to throw to.
Michael Wilson's balling out.
Wilson's balling out. So, and then Sean Tucker, right? Does he produce against this Cardinals defense? We're not sure, but if Baker doesn't play, Cardinals winning. If Baker does play, Bucks winning.
I like that. I would say the same thing, by the way. If the 49ers were to bench Brock Purdy, I think I would take the 49ers with Mac Jones. 100%.
Yeah.
Raiders Chargers, the worst game of the week by far. I'm going to take the Chargers 30-17. I don't know why anybody would watch this if you're not a fan of one of the two teams, but that's what we got for you guys. What do you got for the last game?
Yeah. Chargers 24, Raiders 10. After getting sacked 10 times last week is like, that's tough, bro. So hopefully they don't get sacked as much, but you got Khalil Mack this week. So as your top performer, I believe. So he's going to have a field day today or this week.
And Stafford almost went there. Could you imagine? I mean, it would have been the Lions all over again. Like, it just would have been miserable.
Yeah.
That said, that is it for week 13. Come on back next week, week 14. We're doing the same damn thing.
Hey.
And enjoy week 13. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. He is Cameron Lynch. You can follow me at JK Bogan. You can follow Cam at Cameron Lynch 50. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, sir.